So, you want to pass a bill? Godspeed, you poor fool. Welcome to our guide on how to get a bill to Congress without losing your mind. Now, I know what you're thinking, this'll be a breeze. Well, buckle up, because this journey is wilder than you might think. Imagine trying to herd cats. Now imagine those cats are also politicians, hopped up on power and fueled by lukewarm coffee. That's basically what you're dealing with here. But hey, don't despair just yet. We're here to guide you through this labyrinthine hellscape we call the American legislative process. Think of us as your Virgil. Except instead of leading you through the 9 circles of hell, we're guiding you through the 10 chapters of how to get a bill passed and not end up in a straitjacket. So, you want to change the world, one bill at a time? Adorable. Look, I admire the optimism, but let's be realistic. Getting a bill through Congress is like trying to swim through molasses while wearing a lead suit during a hurricane. It's slow, messy, and frankly, there's a good chance you'll drown. You know what else takes a surprisingly long time? Getting a passport or a driver's license. Hell, you could probably knock out a master's degree in the time it takes for Congress to even glance at your bill. And don't even get me started on the PhD equivalent, actually getting the damn thing passed. But no, you chose this. You chose the legislative equivalent of watching paint dry. Except instead of paint, it's your hopes and dreams slowly evaporating before your very eyes. But hey, at least you'll have a great story for parties. Alright, so you're still here. You're either incredibly stubborn or just love a good challenge. Either way, I respect the commitment. Now let's talk strategy. Forget everything you've seen in House of Cards or The West Wing. Real political power doesn't come from backroom deals or Machiavellian schemes. Okay, maybe a little. It comes from donuts. Yes, you heard me right, donuts. Those sugary, doughy rings of pure joy are the lifeblood of Capitol Hill. Need to sway a senator? Donut. Want to get your bill on a committee's radar? Donut. Remember that beautiful, perfectly crafted piece of legislation you started with, the one you poured your heart and soul into? Yeah, get ready to kiss it goodbye, because once your bill enters the hallowed halls of Congress, it's about to go through more revisions than a Taylor Swift song. See, committees love to tinker. They'll poke, prod, and dissect your bill until it barely resembles its former self. What started as a simple proposal to, say, improve national park funding could morph into a 2,000-page monstrosity about, I don't know, mandatory squirrel census taking and the ethical treatment of unicorns. And that's the best-case scenario. Sometimes your bill might get merged with another completely unrelated bill, creating a Frankenstein's monster of legislative jargon. But hey, look on the bright side. At least your bill is getting noticed, right? Chapter 4, Welcome to the Bill Graveyard. Let's be honest, folks. The odds of your bill actually becoming law are about as good as my chances of winning an Olympic gold medal in synchronized swimming. It's not impossible, but it's highly improbable, especially if I'm the one doing the swimming. You see, Congress has this magical place called committee, which is basically a black hole where bills go to die. It's like the island of misfit toys. But instead of Rudolph and his pals, it's filled with forgotten pieces of legislation, gathering dust and cobwebs. Think about it. Every year, thousands of bills are introduced in Congress. And out of those thousands, only a tiny fraction actually make it to the finish line. The rest, they end up in the bill graveyard, where they're mourned by interns and occasionally visited by historians looking for a good laugh. Now, there are a few reasons why bills end up in this legislative purgatory. Sometimes they're just bad ideas. Chapter 5. Congratulations, you won the legislative lottery. Probably not. So, your bill actually made it out of committee? Hold on, let me check my calendar. Yep, it's officially a miracle. Seriously, you should buy a lottery ticket right now, because you've clearly defied the odds. Statistically speaking, you're more likely to get struck by lightning while simultaneously being eaten by a shark than to get a bill passed through Congress. It's that rare. Think about it. Congress has a lower approval rating than Nickelback, yet somehow they managed to pass your bill. Color me impressed. Now, I don't want to diminish your accomplishment. Getting a bill passed is a big deal and you should be proud of yourself, but I also want to be realistic. The vast majority of bills that are introduced never even see the light of day, let alone make it to the president's desk. Chapter 6. Congress, the most dramatic show on earth and also the least productive. Forget the Real Housewives or Keeping Up with the Kardashians. If you want real drama, look no further than the hallowed halls of Congress. We're talking backstabbing, power struggles, and enough political intrigue to make Machiavelli blush. You see, Congress is like a high school cafeteria, but instead of lunch trays and acne, they're wielding gavels and filibusters. There are cliques, Democrats, Republicans, and the elusive independents. Rivalries, see every congressional hearing ever. And enough gossip to fuel 1,000 political blogs. And don't even get me started on the theatrics. These people could give Shakespeare a run for his money with their dramatic speeches, impassioned pleas, and carefully timed walkouts. It's all very entertaining, of course, unless you're actually hoping to get something done. Ever feel like time is slipping away? Like the days are getting shorter and you're running out of time to accomplish everything you want to do? Well, spare a thought for your poor Bill, because in the world of Congress, time moves at a glacial pace. We're talking slower than a snail in a staring contest with a sloth, slower than a queue at the DMV on a Friday afternoon, slower than a dial-up connection trying to load a YouTube video. You get the picture. Bills can languish in committee for years, even decades, without ever seeing the light of day. Legend has it that there are bills from the 19th century still floating around in the bowels of the Capitol building, just waiting for their moment in the sun. Spoiler alert, it's probably never going to happen. And it's not just the bills themselves that seem stuck in a time warp. The entire legislative process feels like it's stuck in a bygone era. You know how sometimes you can get away with eating an entire bag of chips if you do it quietly and no one sees you? Well, Congress has a similar strategy for passing unpopular bills. It's called the sneak attack, and it's surprisingly effective. Congress waits until everyone is distracted by something else, a major holiday, a celebrity scandal, and then BAM! They slip the bill through while no one is looking. It's sneaky, it's underhanded, and it's surprisingly common. Think about it, how many times have you woken up to the news that Congress passed some major legislation while you were sleeping? But hey, at least it's efficient, right? All right, let's talk fashion, baby, because nothing says I'm here to make laws and change the world like a well-tailored suit and a power tie, right? Well, maybe not. Because while Congress might have a reputation for stuffy decorum and formal attire, the reality is a little more relaxed. Think about it. These people work long hours, attend endless meetings, and spend more time than they'd probably like to admit shaking hands and kissing babies. The last thing that they want to do is squeeze into a constricting suit or worry about spilling coffee on their silk tie. So what's the dress code in the halls of power? Well, it's kind of like a high school with a business casual dress code. Technically there are rules, but nobody really follows them. You'll see everything from impeccably dressed senators in three-piece suits to congressmen who look like they just rolled out of bed. But here's the thing. When it comes to getting things done in Congress, clothes don't really matter. Welcome to the final level of our congressional obstacle course. You've braved the bill graveyard, navigated the treacherous waters of committee, and even mastered the art of the donut bribe. But now, you face the ultimate challenge, the congressional stalemate. Imagine two stubborn rams charging at each other head-on, horns locked in a battle of wills. Now imagine those rams are actually politicians, and instead of horns, they're wielding talking points and filibusters. That's basically what a congressional stalemate looks like. It's a game of chicken, a test of endurance, a battle of attrition. Each side digs in their heels, refusing to budge an inch, even if it means the entire country grinds to a halt. Because in the world of Congress, compromise is often seen as a sign of weakness, and nobody wants to be the first one to blink. So how do you survive this legislative standoff? Well, the key is to remember that it's not about winning or losing, it's about not losing your mind. And there you have it, the wild, wacky, and often frustrating journey of getting a bill through Congress. We've explored the treacherous terrain of committees, the perilous depths of the bill graveyard, and the high-stakes drama of congressional stalemates. So go forth, brave soul, and fight for your bill. Just don't be surprised if you come out the other side looking like you've aged a decade. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content.